Part 173. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Luke Hixie. Chapter 1721. Chapter 1721, Holding the Beauty Home. Ah, it's okay, I'm going back anyway. No, you won't feel comfortable if I stay here, so I won't cause any trouble. I'll leave first. Oh, okay. Huo Yangzi just turned around and almost froze when he raised his leg. His method of retreating to advance did not work on Nangongyu. There is no other way. When things develop to this point, we can only make other plans. Huo Yangzi returned to his villa and saw Mr. Huo sitting on the sofa wearing reading glasses and reading newspaper news. Hey, you're back alone. Mr. Huo glanced at him through his reading glasses, feeling very disgusted. I don't want to see you, so get out quickly. Old man, it's enough to make trouble once. Huo Yangzi didn't hug the beauty back, so naturally she was in a bad mood. You unfilial brat, if it weren't for my bad idea as an old man, how could you do it in front of Yu Yedu? What does it mean to be miserable? She obviously couldn't resist my charm and invited me in. Come on, if she invited you in, would you still be here now? Mr. Huo looked at his grandson up and down, and suddenly he had serious doubts about his charm. I can't figure out what the problem is, and I can't even solve it for my granddaughter-in-law. It's really useless. Grandpa, that's enough. Why are you talking to your grandpa? Mr. Huo frowned and scolded him again. If you are not filial, you are not worthy of my girl. Grandpa, I am your grandson, you have to help me. I have a thought. I'll spread the photos of you two at the banquet that day, and then find someone to stir up a topic. It will happen naturally. No. Mr. Huo proposed this method of scheming, but Huo Yangzi rejected it without even thinking about it. What should such a gentlewoman do if she is questioned by uninformed keyboard warriors on the internet? You brat, you know you feel sorry for people, but they don't understand your feelings. I'll always let her know. Huo Yangzi already knew Nangongyu to a certain extent. The woman was soft on the outside but firm on the inside. If you want to impress her, you have to follow a routine, and it is the kind of routine that is unobtrusive but deeply rooted in people's hearts. Ordinary stalking will definitely have no effect on Nangongyu, so he should make good use of his status as a collaborator to have more contact with her. For example, if you finish talking about something late, the two of you will have a meal together. After the meal, you must follow the gentlemanly manner and send the lady home. Nangongyu will refuse at first, but as long as she experiences it a few more times, she will subconsciously turn these things into a habit. After get off work, Nangongyu stood at the door of the company and looked at the watch on his wrist. Suddenly I realized, what are I doing standing here? Shouldn't we go to the garage and drive home? Nangongyu was about to go to the garage when he suddenly heard someone honking a horn next to him. She looked back and saw that the car door opened, revealing the familiar face of Huo Yangzi. Xiao Yuer, get in the car. She was still hesitating in her heart, but her body had already walked over honestly. Huo Yangzi, why are you here again? The new models we have recently launched have been selling well, and I want to take you to the mall. Listen, it's about work again. Nangongyu thought for a while and nodded in agreement. That's fine. Those who can afford their jewelry are generally working people, so the time after get off work is actually the time when the shopping mall has the largest flow of people. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Luke Hixie. Chapter 1722. Chapter 1722. My girl is like a jewel. Look over there. The place Huo Yangzi refers to is their offline marketing center. Most of the people who come to buy jewelry are in groups, lovers, or relatives. When Huo Yangzi took her in, the salesperson directly recognized them as a couple and introduced them to the jewelry. We are not. Nangongyu was about to retort, but suddenly someone grabbed her hand tightly. Huo Yangzi suddenly lowered his head to hers and said softly, "It's just time to check whether these employees are qualified for their work." Nangongyu was a little confused by his voice, and somehow she followed his wishes and let him hold hands and walk forward. The salesman saw that both of them had extraordinary bearings and must be rich, so he enthusiastically recommended several models to them, and also said many words that Huo Yexi liked to hear, such as "Your girlfriend is really good looking. Let's take a look at your relationship, that's good." Nangongyu also looked at the jewelry carefully. Although she had selected these design drafts and had seen the real ones before, this was the first time she viewed them as a buyer in a store. "Which one do you like? They all look good after all, she chose them herself, so wouldn't it be a slap in the face to say they don't look good?" Naturally, I liked the answer. Nangongyu thought so in his heart. The next second, Huo Yangzi said angrily, "Wrap all these different styles for me." "Okay sir," the salesman smiled brightly, as if he was afraid that he would regret it. He came with a credit card machine in both hands, and several people began to choose these jewelry for them. Nangongyu was surprised and shocked and pulled his hand. "Huo Yangzi, what are you doing? Didn't you say you like it? Then I'll buy it and give it to you." "I don't need these, I have them all." She has a habit of keeping a sample of any jewelry designed and sold by the company. "That's different." "What's the difference? Everything I have is flawless." "But that's not what I sent to you." Huo Yangzi blocked all her doubts with one sentence. While Nangongyu was dazed for a moment, he didn't know when he got a ring of suitable size and put it between her fingers. "My girl is like jewels and treasures, what do these things mean?" Nangongyu stared at the ring in his hand, as if he had caught a hot potato. "Huo Yangzi. This man is too domineering. How can anyone directly put a ring on the hand of the opposite sex? I've been chasing you for so long. With your intelligence, can't you still see it?" Someone seemed to be staring at them. Nangongyu subconsciously wanted to hide, but Huo Yangzi directly pulled her into the cubicle. This is his territory and he is familiar with everything. "Xiao Yuer, can you face your feelings? Ask yourself, do you really have no feelings for me at all?" Huo Yangzi took her hand domineeringly and placed the palm of her hand against the left side of his heart. "I want you to listen to my heart." Nangongyu tried to break free, but he couldn't do it at all. "Xiao Yuer, how about being my girlfriend?" "Me, I don't like people who are ambiguous with different women." Huo Yangzi quickly expressed his position. "You said before that you don't like playboys. Look at the zero scandals around me now. If there is anything you are dissatisfied with, I will change everything until you agree." "How is it? Talk to me." She didn't say anything, but her ears turned red quietly. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1723. Chapter 1723. Mr. Huo's mysterious new girlfriend. "Huo Yangzi, do you really like me?" "Certainly." "Then, let's try it." Nangongyu quietly clenched his hand and could clearly feel the ring between his fingers. She seems not to be so repulsive to this man anymore. Hearing her words of relief, Huo Yangzi happily picked her up and said, "Xiao Yuer, you have promised me. Put it down, let me down. Don't let me go, what's wrong with me hugging my girlfriend?" He seemed to be overwhelmed with joy. Not only did he not put her down, he even carried her out of the mall. Nangongyu was so ashamed that she buried her head deeply into his chest. I guess tomorrow's headline will be Mr. Huo's mysterious new girlfriend. Huo Yangzi embraced the beauty, and even Mr. Huo gave him a good look, urging him to get the certificate and turn Nangongyu into a real Huo family member. "Grandpa, Are you so satisfied with her? Girl Yu is good looking, has a gentle personality, and is patient with a strange old man like me. It would be a pity not to kidnap such a good girl to become my grandson-in-law. Mr. Huo's words all revealed his love for Nangang Yu. Huo Yangzi felt a sense of pride in his heart when he heard these words of praise. Tisk, this compliment was from his future wife-in-law. Nangang Yu discovered that Huo Yangzi, who was a wolf dog, was gradually driven to develop into a puppy. Originally, when he invited her to dinner, he said, "About that cooperation, Miss Nangang will come out to talk when she is free. Now when I invite her to dinner, I will type and send a message, Xiao Yuer, let's go out for dinner tonight." At first, she thought it was just Huo Yangzi typing one more word when her hands were shaking, and she didn't pay attention. But then she gradually discovered that Huo Yangzi's behavior began to verify the hot posts on the internet that boyfriends are becoming more and more coquettish. A picture suddenly appeared in my mind. Huo Yangzi smiled softly, and when he said good night to her, it turned into, "Xiao Yuer, go to bed quickly." Made her tremble with fright. Huo Yangzi is a domineering president, how could he become like this? Now, apart from going to work, Nangang Yu spends most of her time occupied by Huo Yangzi, a domineering man, but she finds herself a little addicted. This is not a good sign. She has never been so dependent on someone who is not related by blood. But this doesn't seem to be a bad phenomenon. Doesn't her father Nangang Luo really want to stay with his mother 24 hours a day? Does this mean that she has also found her own destiny? Her heart is beating so fast. I wonder where you will go after get off work today? I almost forgot, I have to work overtime. Busy recently. Just as he was thinking about it, Nangang Yu received a call from Beiji Yu, hoping that she would come out to meet him after get off work. She felt very sorry for neglecting her sister recently and agreed immediately. So I spared 2 hours and planned to meet Beiji Yu. Unexpectedly, Beiji Yu cried aggrievedly when he saw her. "Are you okay? Can you tell me what happened now?" "Zhu Yu is back. Nangang Yu understands. Ye Qingfeng has been alone for so many years, and Beiji Yu's heart is full of focus on him. Who can withstand it? I originally thought that everything would go smoothly, but I didn't expect that Zhu Yu would appear halfway." The little girl felt aggrieved and cried in her arms for a long time. "Because something unexpected happened while the company was working overtime, I had to leave. As a result, I received a call from Beiji Yu just after I arrived at the company, saying that I wanted to stay at her house." End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1724. Chapter 1724. Do you want to marry her? Huo Yangzi found that his girlfriend was very busy these 2 days and declined all his invitations to meet. He lost his temper and asked Hian to investigate, but found that Nangang Yu was still in close contact with Ye Qingfeng when he was busy. Damn, he kicked the stool angrily. 2 days ago, Ye Qingfeng confessed to a girl at a press conference in front of everyone. He guessed it was Beiji Yu, so Nangang Yu was sad again? Do you find that you still miss that man in your heart? Huo Yangzi's temper exploded. Even Zhong Siyu didn't look good when he saw her. "What are you doing here?" "Brother Yangzi, mommy asked me to come to the company to study." "Hey, you don't know how capable you are." Facing Huo Yangzi's cold-blooded ridicule, Zhong Siyu's face turned blue and white, looking extremely ugly. Huo Yangzi never cared about her mother Zhong Yun, let alone regarded Zhong Yun as a stepmother, as if her father's decision had nothing to do with him. Hence, Huo Yangzi was not very polite to both mother and daughter. But this huge Huo family still needs Huo Yangzi to inherit it in the end. If you want to continue to live well in the Huo family, you must please Huo Yangzi. Brother Yangzi, I will work hard. Please believe me. I was always ignorant and disobedient in the past. Okay, I won't accept this trick. Go back and tell your mother not to make any plans here. Brother Yangzi, I heard that you are dating Miss Nangong. So what? Grandpa asked you to marry her, do you want to marry her? What if, marry you? But do you really like her? She is not as simple as you see on the surface. Do you know what her intention is? She just wants to use this to get the shares of the Huo family, Zhong Siyu said with indignation, almost it's not written clearly on her face, she's only with you for profit. Tisk. Huo Yangzi played with the pen and mocked Zhong Siyu with disdain, she is the only daughter of the Nangong family. By marrying her, the Nangong family will cooperate more closely with Huo's enterprise. The most common thing among big families is marriage. Isn't it? And you are nothing but a dragster brought back by that woman Zhong Yun for a life-saving grace. You are nothing in the Huo family. As a human being, it's best to have a clear understanding of your position, but don't get carried away. Every harsh word he said was directed at Zhong Siyu. He originally just ignored Zhong Siyu, until that time Zhong Siyu was so bold that he actually wanted to attack Nangong Yu. He loves his woman, so of course he will hate Zhong Siyu who tries to hurt Nangong Yu. Zhong Siyu has evil intentions, so why do you need to say nice things to her? Be smart and go back to the Huo family. You can live with your mother and still be a young lady of the Huo family. If you dare to appear in front of me and say those words again, don't blame me, Huo Yangzi, for not giving me the face of my dead father. He was able to tolerate Zhong Siyu entirely because of his father's last words before his death, telling him not to touch Zhong Yun and his daughter easily. In the past few years, the two of them were at peace with each other, so he didn't bother to care about them. Now that Zhong Siyu's evil thoughts have emerged, he doesn't like it and just feels upset. Zhong Siyu reluctantly disappeared from Huo Yangzi's eyes. When she went out, she seemed to catch a glimpse of a slightly familiar figure from behind. It seems to be Nangong Yu. Zhong Siyu quickly pressed the elevator button. When the elevator door opened, there was no one inside. She went downstairs and chased him out. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1725. Chapter 1725 Let's break up. Zhong Siyu went downstairs and saw no one in particular. She ran to the front desk with an idea and asked, "Have you seen Miss Nangong from Nangong Group here just now?" "Yes. Nangong Yu has been here many times, and the front desk has known her for a long time. There is no need to make an appointment in advance, so she was let in directly." Zhong Siyu was suddenly excited when he got the answer. If Nangong Yu was outside the office door just now, wouldn't he have heard her conversation with Huo Yangzi? She has known Huo Yangzi since she was a child, and she knows very well that the man has a venomous mouth and is even more rude when he is angry. Nangong Yu hid just now, which shows that he was worried about it. Those words just now were all directed at her, and she was very angry. But if Nangong Yu heard it, he would be even more angry, right? Ha ha. Thinking of this, Zhong Siyu actually laughed out loud. Zhong Siyu felt much better when she left the company. And Nangong Yu is not so good. She didn't leave, she just sat at the stairs. No one would notice her. She has been very busy recently. The night when Beiji Yu stayed at home, she went back very late and did not notice Beiji Yu's mood. It was not until the next morning that she discovered that Beiji Yu was ill and had a severe fever. She rushed to the hospital and contacted Ye Qingfeng to come to the hospital to visit. In order to bring the two people together, she suggested that Ye Qingfeng take Beiji Yu home and take care of her for 2 days. Ye Qingfeng has always loved Beiji Yu, so he naturally agreed without hesitation. In this way, she went to Ye Qingfeng's house to see Beiji Yu once after get off work, and found that the girl seemed very happy living at Ye Qingfeng's house, probably because she could be closer to him. Nangong Yu felt both distressed and envious of her. I feel sorry for her that she has been secretly in love with a man for so many years, but she still doesn't dare to confess it, and I also envy her that she can be so sincerely devoted to a man for so many years, and it happens that that man is very good to her. So she thought of Huo Yangzi. The recent rejection of Huo Yangzi's invitation is not because she is avoiding it, but because she is really busy with work. She can only visit Xiao Yuer once. After all, the girl is sick. After the matter at hand was settled, she came to Huo Yanzi and wanted to give him a surprise. Unexpectedly, I really didn't expect that Huo Yangzi would give her a surprise. Huo Yangzi is so ruthless towards Zhong Siyu, a person he has known for many years. She was not a Mary Sue who used benevolence and morality to restrain Huo Yangzi, but she felt that a person like Huo Yangzi could be ruthless to anyone, let alone someone she had only known for half a year. She suddenly remembered that Huo Yangzi had been interested in her before, but he had never said that he would marry her, or even explicitly stated that he wanted her to be his girlfriend. It wasn't until Mr. Huo came to her and hoped that she could become the grandson-in-law of the Huo family that Huo Yangzi changed. Everything went according to Huo Yangzi's words. Mr. Huo asked him to marry, so he would marry. It doesn't matter whether you really like her or not. Marriage is the most common thing in the circle of people like them, isn't it? She raised the corners of her lips slightly, and that smile was really a bit cold. As expected, it is quite difficult to find people who cherish each other. Like Ye Qingfeng's parents, her parents, and Bai Jiyu's parents all met in a simple and beautiful age, and their relationship went through many tests of time before it finally came to a sweet end. And she actually expected to find someone she sympathized with in just a few months. What a fool. Nangongyu picked up the phone, edited a message and sent it, "Let's break up." End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1726. Chapter 1726 You misunderstood. Huo Yangzi finally waited until Nangongyu sent him a message. He couldn't wait to click on it, and he couldn't believe the words that came into his eyes. Separate. He has been waiting for so many days. Even though he knew that she was meeting Ye Qingfeng when she rejected him, he did not expose it. He even waited patiently for her to come to him, but what he waited for was, "Shall we break up?" How is it possible to break up? Huo Yangzi dialed the phone directly. The first second he got through, he blurted out, "Nangongyu, I don't agree with the message you just sent." He will never agree to break up. His Huo Yangzi's belongings, whether they are people or things, will never be abandoned easily as long as they are labeled as belonging to him. Huo Yangzi, I have thought about it seriously. Our two concepts are not in harmony and we are not suitable for being together. Hey, if there is any discord in your ideas, just tell me what you are thinking, and I will do it for you. Huo Yangzi believed that even if it was discord, he could force it to become harmony. Nangongyu put a hand on his heart and took a deep breath. Huo Yangzi, can you be more sensible? I want to talk to you calmly. Sane, I'm sure I'm sensible. As for peace of mind, I'm sorry I can't do that. Are you a woman with an iron heart? If you care enough, you can't be calm. Does Nangongyu know that only things that people care about can upset people's emotions? She is so sensible and calm. She could just say break up simply because she doesn't like him. Where are you? I'm going to find you. Nangongyu stood up from the stairs, took 2 steps and then stepped back hesitantly. What he answered on the phone was, "I'm at the company." She is indeed in the company. This sentence is not a lie. She is just in his Huo Yangzi's company. Hearing this, Huo Yangzi bit her lip and nodded, and her words were in a tone that could not be refused, "I'll go find you." He pulled his tie, opened the office door, and slammed the door hard, making a loud noise. Nangong Yu temporarily mentioned a place and made an appointment with him to meet there. Huo Yangzi walked toward her aggressively, and she felt a little guilty. You like Ye Qingfeng that much? I don't know why he suddenly felt the breeze in the driveway. Nangong Yu also tried to explain, you misunderstood. Huo Yangzi sneered, misunderstanding, do you dare to say that you haven't met him or gone to his house to look for him in the past 2 days? I have met brother Qingfeng and also been to his house, but that was because Xiao Yuer was sick. Yes, Ye Qingfeng likes Beiji Yu, and you have such a good relationship with Beiji Yu. This relationship is really messy. What did you say? Do you even think that brother Qingfeng likes Xiao Yuer? Look, you don't want to believe something so obvious. Probably because they were both men, Huo Yangzi could understand Ye Qingfeng's heart at a glance. But he couldn't understand Nangong Yu, and even thought that Nangong Yu was escaping. Nangong Yu had a severe headache. Huo Yangzi, what I need is someone who is devoted to me, and you are not. How do you know I'm not? This statement really doesn't make sense. Nangong Yu sighed deeply. But I heard a voice above my head, marry me. What are you saying? Nangong Yu, from the moment you agreed to be my woman, there was no way out. Now I only give you one choice, either marry me, or, het. Huo Yangzi's anger cannot be easily tolerated. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1727. Chapter 1727 Because Yangzi only wants you. Nangong Yu didn't expect that Huo Yangzi would really go crazy. He actually forcibly cancelled the cooperation with Nangong Group regardless of his reputation and interests, and began to destroy it crazily. Overnight, Nangong Group's shares fell. Fortunately, Nangong Luo and Gongqin Li went on a long trip and had no news for the time being. Nangong Yu tried his best to make countermeasures, but in the end they couldn't withstand Huo Yangzi's devastation. Huo Yangzi, are you crazy? Xiao Yuer, you finally called me. Have you considered my proposal? What on earth do you want to do? I want you to marry me. He is crazy. No one has ever made him so crazy and lose his mind since he was a child. But Nangong Yu did it, just saying break up forced him to this point. You can force me to break up, why can't I force you to get married? Huo Yangzi's laughter sounded on the phone again. Nangong Yu clasped the phone with a pop sound. She had been so peaceful with Huo Yangzi some time ago that she had almost forgotten how calculating and ruthless Huo Yangzi was rumored to be. Ye Qingfeng has contacted her twice and asked if she needed help, but she declined both times. The problem in this matter is not commercial suppression at all, but personal relationships. She suddenly remembered that Huo Yangzi had said before that it was all because Mr. Huo liked her, so she planned to take a gamble and talk to Mr. Huo. But the old man refused to see me. She looked at the thatched cottage 3 times, and finally Mr. Huo appeared. Mr. Huo is still kind to her, but Yu Yetu, regarding Yangzi's actions, I will not intervene. Why? I also hope that you can marry into our Huo family if the result is what I want to see and the process is a little harder, so what? At that moment, Nangong Yu was really disappointed. She is not a simple-minded little girl, and she can't even see through people's hearts. The Huo family has developed to this point, how can the people in power be full of kindness? You girl, the old man will tell you the truth today. I admire your family background, appearance and abilities very much. I think you are the most suitable person for Yangzi. As long as Yangzi still likes you, I will never give up. The idea of you becoming my granddaughter-in-law. Mr. Huo signaled to the person next to him and handed over a document with black and white writing on it. You are also a businessman. You'd better think about how to achieve a win-win situation. Nangong Yu flipped through it in confusion, and saw an asset written on every page, and Mr. Huo had signed it. As long as you marry Yangzi, these things will be regarded as congratulatory gifts from my old man to your juniors. Every transaction here is worth a lot of money, and there are even shares in Huo's enterprise, which are twice as much as Zhonyun. Grandpa, you are willing to spend such a large sum of money, why does it have to be me? Because Yangzi only wants you. Nangongyu thought about Mr. Huo's words and felt a little ironic. Because Huo Yangzi fell in love with her, Mr. Huo decided that she was the best candidate for the Huo family's grandson's wife. One used money to pressure her company, and the other used money to lure her as a businessman. Singing and harmonizing, both soft and hard, it is really painstaking. What if I still don't want to? Then Grandpa can only say sorry first. Mr. Huo once again motioned to the assistant beside him to take out an envelope. Opening the envelope, there was a stack of photos inside, and it turned out to be. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1728. Chapter 1728. Huo Yangzi, I promise you. When Nangongyu saw the stack of photos handed over from Mr. Huo, his face suddenly turned pale. The people inside were her and Huo Yangzi. Huo Yangzi hugged her, but she was disheveled. Nangongyu stared in disbelief, and quickly put away the photo, with nowhere to put his hands. You girl, Grandpa really appreciates you and hopes that you can become a member of the Huo family. Please consider it carefully. Although I can't stand that brat in my family, I can't watch my Huo family's grandson being a bachelor for the rest of his life, right? When Mr. Huo said these words, he still had a kind smile on his face. He seemed to be scolding Huo Yangzi, but he doted on his grandson. Even if Huo Yangzi wants something, he will do whatever it takes to help him get it. Mr. Huo was helped away with a smile on his face. Nangongyu was left sitting there quietly. In the end, she lay on the table and cried aggrievedly, but she didn't let herself cry out. Everyone said that she was the pride of the Nangong family. How could she let the pride of the Nangong family become a serious laughing-stock for others? You must not give others a reason to trample the Nangong family under their feet. Nangongyu wiped away her tears and put away the documents that Mr. Huo handed her. As a businessman, the most important thing is to make profits, isn't it? After a while, she picked up her cell phone and made a call. Huo Yangzi, I promise you. While feeling sad, Nangongyu received another piece of good news from her sisters, which was the message Beijiyu sent in the sisters group, Brother Qingfeng and I are together. It's the kind of love. She spoke by voice, and her simple words were as sweet as a whole jar of honey. Yezhiruo and Mo Xiongnuan sent their blessings one after another. Nangongyu held the phone and stopped at this page for a long time. I don't know when the topic changed and we started discussing her. Beijiyu, when I think about it, Sister Yu is the one who has the hardest work. It's really tiring to support such a large family business by myself. Yezhiruo, although I feel sad too, don't underestimate Yu. She is very powerful. She raised the phone to her mouth and also sent a voice message, I heard you guys praising me. Then she sent another blessing, I have heard about Brother Qingfeng and Xiaoyu. I wish you happiness. Hey, Beijiyu posted several cute emoticons to express her inner happiness and joy. She hesitated for a moment, but still told them the big news. That's right, I also have something to tell you. I'm getting married. The voice as calm as water said, the news of getting married. The other three people in the group all wondered whether Nangongyu had also learned to joke. As if he could guess their thoughts through the screen, Nangongyu once again sent out a text, no kidding, I'm getting married. Remembering that he had promised Huo Yangzi to get married today, the man couldn't wait to get the certificate. She delayed deliberately, and Huo Yangzi seemed to see through her thoughts. Later she thought about it, since it was bound to happen, what was the use of procrastinating? So she promised Huo Yangzi that she would go get the certificate tomorrow. The night before receiving the certificate, she suffered from insomnia. Time flies so fast, she has actually known Huo Yangzi for almost half a year. When did that start? It seems to be for cooperation. If she had not broken into Huo Yangzi's lounge that day, wouldn't everything have happened? End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1729. Chapter 1729. See you at the civil affairs situation. Early in the morning, Nangongyu was woken up by Huo Yangzi's phone call. In fact, she didn't sleep much either. Xiao Yuer, I'm downstairs at your house. It was just dawn, and Huo Yangzi came unexpectedly. She was not a bedsitter herself, so she quickly got up to clean herself up. Because she had not slept well last night, her face looked much gloomier. After all, she was the one who was going to take photos for the marriage certificate, so she still sat in front of the dressing mirror and put on delicate light makeup. Wearing something different from her work clothes, she chose a warm orange skirt, which looked gentle yet bright. Huo Yangzi waited in the car outside the apartment while looking at her watch. She waited for a full hour, 3 minutes and 15 seconds. He was a little angry, not because he was tired of waiting, but because he thought Nangongyu didn't care about this matter at all. I told him to wait outside, but she refused to come out. Is it because you were unwilling that you regretted it now? Huo Yangzi became angrier as she thought about it, and punched the steering wheel. Suddenly, he heard someone knocking on his car window. Huo Yangzi suddenly turned serious, opened the car door, got out of the car and walked around to the other side. When he saw Nangongyu, he actually lost consciousness for a moment. Nangongyu today is different from usual. The Nangongyu he had seen before was either in a small professional suit with light makeup that set off his spirit, or in a dignified and elegant image at a banquet. But today's simple daily life, with a sense of vitality, made his eyes shine again. What are you looking at? Look at how beautiful you are. Oh. If he heard this in the past, Nangongyu would have smiled or said a gentle thank you. But now she simply responded. Feel like something is missing? He knows. It is a smile. Is this woman really unwilling to marry herself? But if he were to be a tolerant and generous man and give up on her, it would be impossible. So, he could only hold her tightly in the palm of his hand and keep her by his side. Huo Yangzi opened the passenger door for her, asked her to get in the car in a gentlemanly manner, then walked around to the driver's seat and drove the car in the direction of the Civil Affairs Bureau. Nangongyu looked at the time and found that it was not yet the Civil Affairs Bureau's working hours. Huo Yangzi, are we too early? The Civil Affairs Bureau is not at work yet. I'm busy, I finished it early and I still have work, he seemed to explain casually. Hearing his casual tone, Nangongyu felt another sullen feeling in his heart. He was silent for a while before he could calm down. The two of them were waiting in front of the Civil Affairs Bureau, waiting for people to go to work. They were sitting in the car, and the two people who were about to become a legal couple were relatively speechless. They were each scrolling through their mobile phones, as if no one cared about the other. But someone's browsing page always stayed on that page. Nangongyu didn't know what he was thinking about, and he was slightly lost in thought while holding his mobile phone. When the staff arrived at work, they naturally became the first couple to register. When taking the wedding certificate photo, the photographer was amazed at the good looks of the two talented and beautiful people, but they lacked a bit of charm. Because neither of them smiled, and even looked a little strange, the atmosphere was a little awkward. The bride and groom smile. The photographer was really reluctant to take pictures of these two handsome faces with bitter melon expressions, So he patiently guided them. Nangongyu smiled naturally. Although it was a professional fake smile, it did not hinder his appearance. Huo Yangzi glanced at her. Her smile was beautiful but not sweet enough. Shoot. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1730. Chapter 1730. He hid the red book. After completing all the procedures in the Civil Affairs Bureau, Nangongyu held the red book and still felt a little unreal. She opened it and took a look. Before she could take a closer look, the marriage certificate in her hand was suddenly snatched away by Huo Yanxi. What are you doing? Leave this thing to me for safekeeping from now on. What is your share is in your hand, why are you robbing me? What if you get out of your mind and destroy it? Nangongyu frowned slightly, I wouldn't do anything so rude. Huo Yangzi didn't answer her words, but he really didn't return the marriage certificate to her. Seeing how determined he was, Nangongyu finally discussed taking a photo with him and handed him 2 red books together. It's unbelievable that she really married Huo Yangzi. At noon that day, Nangongyu posted the marriage certificate. Immediately afterwards, the headlines of the city's entertainment news were about the marriage between Nangongyu, the sole heir of the Nangang family, and Huo Yangzi, the grandson of the Huo family. Everyone is speculating about the business marriage between the two, and all kinds of rumors are flying everywhere. However, the heroine Nangongyu on the headlines is sitting in a high-end restaurant entertaining 2 good sisters. Sister you are really a blockbuster even if you don't even make a sound. Beiji Yu exclaimed when she saw the photo of the marriage certificate. At first I was happy for her, but then I thought of a question, why have I never heard you say that you have someone you like? Why? Because all this happened in a hurry, she was not given a chance to choose. Beiji Yu maintains the innocence that is rare in society, probably because Ye Qingfeng has guarded her so carefully since she was a child. Nangongyu really envied this little girl, Xiao Yuer. Not everyone is as lucky as you to meet people like brother Qingfeng since birth. There are relatively few childhood sweethearts, but I haven't heard any news about Huo Yangzi before. Didn't you read what was said on the internet, business marriage? What? Beiji Yu exploded when she heard those words. Is it too late to regret the marriage now? Nangongyu asked back, what do you think? Beiji Yu punched the table in anger. Mo Xiangnuan, who has always been silent and rarely talks, also appeared gloomy. She didn't hold a wedding, and she didn't tell mom and dad in advance. Of course, Nangang Luo and Gong Qinyu couldn't agree to her hasty marriage, so she decided to kill her first and then marry her. She changed from Miss Nangang to Mrs. Huo. The news spread quickly, and she soon received a bombardment of calls from her parents and even other relatives. She patiently explained to everyone that Nangang Luo and Gong Qinli were the most difficult to deal with. They flew back immediately and asked her why. She replied, compared to exciting love, Yuer thinks it's good to treat each other as guests. As you know, I have always liked a stable life. I will not be wronged because of my status in marrying Huo Yangzi, and Huo Yangzi and I can work together to bring the family business to a higher level. This is all very good, and it is what I want most. No matter how Nangang Luo and Gong Qinli asked, she would use different words to express that the current situation was her best choice. Although Nangongyu is the most obedient in the eyes of adults, he is also the most difficult to convince. The things she decides must have been thought through clearly. Furthermore, even if they are unhappy, the marriage certificate has been obtained and the news has made headlines. They can't let their daughter get divorced now, right? There is no other way except to call out the son-in-law and beat him up. End of this chapter.